Imagine standing on the deck of a ship in the freezing North Atlantic. It is December the 26th, 1900. You are approaching the Flannan Isles, a tiny, jagged cluster of rocks off the coast of Scotland. You're looking for a light, but the lighthouse is dark. There is no flag flying in the wind. There is no welcoming signal, just dead silence. Captain James Harvey creates a loud blast with the ship's whistle. He waits. Nothing moves on the island. He fires a flare into the gray sky. It explodes, but no one comes out to see it. A relief keeper named Joseph Moore gets into a small boat and rows toward the shore. He walks up the long, steep stairs to the lighthouse door. He calls out the names of his 3 friends, but the only answer is the sound of the wind screaming against the stone. He pushes the door open and steps into one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of all time. To understand why this is so terrifying, you have to understand the place. Island Moor is not just an island, it is a rock at the edge of the world. The locals believed it was haunted by the 7 hunters. They considered it unholy ground. But in 1899, modern man built a lighthouse there to tame the dark ocean. It was supposed to be safe. It was supposed to be indestructible. And the men inside, they weren't nervous rookies. They were veterans. James Duckett was the principal keeper, a man with over 20 years of experience. He was a family man, known for being reliable and tough. Thomas Marshall was the second assistant, turning a solid career into a life's work. And Donald MacArthur, the occasional keeper, was an old sea dog, a man who had survived violent storms that would terrify normal people. These were men who did not scare easily. They knew the ocean. They knew the risks. So what on earth could make 3 hardened men vanish without a single trace? When Joseph Moore searched the lighthouse, he didn't find bodies. He found a logbook, and what was written inside changed everything. The entries describe a storm, but not just any storm. The log written by Thomas Marshall noted severe winds, unlike anything they had ever seen. He wrote that the principal keeper, James Duckett, was very quiet. This is where it gets strange. Weather reports from nearby ships and stations confirmed that on those exact dates, the weather was calm. The storm didn't exist on any map. It only existed around the lighthouse. The next entry is even more disturbing. It claims that Donald MacArthur, the tough old sailor, was crying. Why would a veteran sailor cry over a storm? On December 13th, the log says the men were praying. Think about that. 3 men, safe inside a fortress of stone and iron, praying for their lives in a storm that nobody else saw. The final entry was made on December 15th. It simply read, "Storm ended. Sea calm. God is over all." After that, nothing. The logbook was chilling, but the physical evidence inside the living quarters was baffling. It was like a scene frozen in time. Inside the kitchen, there was food prepared for dinner. Some reports say there was a meal of cold meat and pickles left on the table, untouched. It was as if they had sat down to eat and were suddenly interrupted. A chair was knocked over, suggesting someone stood up in a hurry. The fireplace was cold, full of dead ashes. The most haunting detail. The clock on the wall had stopped. Moore checked the entrance area. There were 3 heavy oilskin coats, the rain gear keepers wore outside. Only 2 were missing. 1 coat was still hanging on its peg. This is a crucial clue. It meant that one of the keepers, likely Donald MacArthur, had run out into the freezing winter night without his protective gear. No experienced keeper would ever do that. Not unless the emergency was so sudden and so terrifying that the cold didn't matter anymore. For over 120 years, people have tried to explain the impossible. The official investigation concluded that a giant rogue wave caught the men while they were securing equipment on the rocks. They believe the men were swept away into the churning sea, their bodies lost to the deep. But that theory has holes. If it was just a wave, why was the gate closed? Why was the one coat left inside? Why the strange log entries about a phantom storm? Others look to the darker legends, stories of sea serpents or foreign spies kidnapping the men. Some say the psychological pressure of isolation made them turn on each other, madness taking over in the tight confines of the tower. Or perhaps, as the locals warned, they disturbed the spirits of the island. The 7 hunters took their revenge on the intruders who dared to bring light to their dark home. Today, the lighthouse on Eileen Moor is automated. There are no keepers left to watch the waves or to hear the wind howling against the glass. The mystery of James DeCat, Thomas Marshall, and Donald MacArthur remains buried under the cold Atlantic waters. Did they see something they weren't supposed to? Or were they simply victims of nature's cruel power? We will never know the truth. The only witnesses were the seagulls and the sea. And the sea never gives up its secrets. Thanks for watching. If you want to disappear down another rabbit hole, click the video on your screen now. Stay safe.